Here's a book I've had kicking about for years. It's not a particularly thick book, but it's a good introduction for anybody who's sort of vaguely curious about the late John Peel. John Peel, A Life in Music. And it's by Michael Heatley. It says here, a monumental achievement. That's a quote from Clive Selwood in the Sunday Times. It was $6.99 when it came out, and that's how thick it is. Some interesting photographs inside. John Peel, the balding, self-deprecating Liverpudlian with the wild, willfully obscure taste in music, was an unlikely national institution, yet with a radio career that spanned almost 40 years in which he consistently championed left-field sounds and brought psychedelia, punk, reggae and hip-hop to the mainstream. That is exactly what he became. When he died suddenly in October 2004, good grief, it's that long ago, millions mourned the loss of this quirky, influential figure. I used to see him in the sort of late 60s in Birmingham, and he'd come to a place that I went to called the Midlands Arts Centre, and I can remember he was there a couple of occasions, and he wore this long black PVC Mac, and it had a badge on it. I think the badge was in yellow with black letters on it, and it was "I'm a Peelian," and I thought, I've got to get one of these. I've got to get one of these PVC Macs. And at the time, my mother went looking all over the place, Army Navy stores, etc., etc. And finally, she found one of these desirable Macs in a shop called Oswald Bailey's in Birmingham. It was in the former Bullring, as was. And they used to specialise in camping equipment, etc. Don't know where John Peel got his from, but there you go. I think his record collection, which was enormous, has now been sold off. At one time, you could access what was in the collection, the titles, but I don't think you could play any of it. There was a website on the net, but storage was a great problem, according to Sheila, his widow. And they had to have a couple of extensions on the house, and if memory serves me right, he wasn't a great fan of Kid Jensen, the DJ, but it ended up that Kid Jensen became a neighbour of his, and they became great fans. I used to like his narrations on TV as well for various programs. I think one was called A Life of Grime, and there was this man that was on there that was a bit of a recluse. I've forgotten his name now. Come back to me maybe some later time, and I'll possibly put it in the comments. But some smashing photographs of Peel. He was always accessible if he was out and about, for people to speak to him. A friend of mine was in a group called Fashion, contacted him, and he played their first single on Radio 1, on his Radio 1 show. I used to read lots of his stuff as well, but this is a good introduction. There are other books available, obviously, but I think if you manage to pick this up, or maybe if you download it on Kindle or something like that, you'll find it interesting anyway. An absolute major figure in music over 4 decades. But check this one out. Worth having. A Life in Music, John Peel. And published, it was written by Michael Heatley. I always liked how nice and neat he used to get his beard as well. It was very good. Sad that we lost him still. I didn't realise it was that long ago. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, click me a like and stick around and see what other things I can pull out to show you from my collection, that is. Thanks for now. Bye, and great having you watch. Bye.